and welcome back to Yoga with Laura Ashland. I appreciate the subscribing and following as many sessions as possible. You can always go back and review some of the earlier sessions and continue to cycle through all that I'm offering on my YouTube channel for you. It's a great practice. There are many levels to this practice and many different styles of yoga and timing and pacing. Should I hold? Should I one breath, one movement? No matter what you do with yoga, there's only one, and that yoga is yours. How you come to your mat and how you become unstuck, how you begin to open blockages in the body, whether they're physical or emotional. It is a capital Y yoga. There is only one style, and it is what you do. So today's practice, we're going to work a little bit with kneeling side plank and side plank. They're very beneficial for flexibility. They're also beneficial for strength. So we're going to work a little bit on strength today. And then, of course, we all need a little bit of balance, including your yoga teacher. So we practice on it constantly. I think it's super important for people, really any age, but certainly over 40 or 50, as we get into the even older years, to be more secure as we're walking and as we're maybe being distracted. We trip on something, but be very aware of our feet. So we will begin today with a little bit of cat-cow, of course, just to get our breathing going and to warm up the spine a little bit. So finding all fours, knees are under the hips, and your wrists are under the shoulders. Now a little bit of observation here. If you have a wrist issue and that shoulder and elbow joint are directly down on the wrist, it tends to take a hit here at the 90-degree. So you can certainly just step your hand out, about 2 inches at the most. And now we have a little bit more of a slope, and we're not so down onto the wrist. Now this is offline, so many of the purists will say that this is not in alignment, where the wrist can use the power of the elbow and shoulder. However, as you're strengthening your joints, this is a great process at first. If you are comfortable here and you don't have any issues with being mostly squared up into all fours, then by all means that is more beneficial for you, but listen to your body. So here we go. We're going to inhale. I'm going to bring up the head, squeeze the shoulder blades together, drop the belly. That's the cow part, the udders of the low belly. The tailbone is lifting high. And then as I exhale, I'm going to shift over the heels, come up in a nice rounded cat-like spine. Let the neck open and then the skull fall. So a few more like this. Inhale, come up. Exhale, shift the weight. Very end of that exhale. Inhale, prepare your cow. Exhale, shift the weight. Notice you can exhale through the nose or the mouth. Let the head and neck open. And 2 more times. Inhale, come up. Exhale, shift the weight to the back, roll up through the base of the spine. Nice rounded shoulder here, head and neck. Exhale, press it out, lift through your cat or your core. Last one, inhale, coming up. Retracting the shoulder blades together, arcing through the spine, lifting that tailbone. Exhale, shift your hips over the heels. Arcing up, blades move away from the spine. Nice broad shoulder here. Inhale to neutral, and setting the spine in a nice tabletop. so we're not too much in the extension, and we're also not in the flexion of the spine. Very nice. Now today's kneeling side plank, we are going to kickstand out that left leg. So I'm not going to do a lot of movement with the knee. I'm going to keep the kneecap right in place. So back and forth for just a moment to test it. Taking that foot out, you might want something under the bar of the shin to fill that space. If you wish to have your toes up, that's great. That's nice support, but it will drive the knee into the mat. So whatever feels comfortable for you, but that's about a 45-degree kickstand. Now I'm going to bring my left hand in just a little because I want the left hand in line with that left knee. I'm going to turn the right leg into extension, nice long leg, and I want to make sure the side of my foot is toward the short line of the mat. Before I begin to roll up, I want to make sure my 3 points of contact are in one line. Then, starting from hip, I'm going to bring the hip up, pubic bone forward, rolling the spine open, and setting that spine wherever it's comfortable for you. Some people will circle sweep up with the arm. Many people have an issue with the circle sweep, so I bring it close and then grow the arm from the shoulder. Last to move is the neck. So cervical spine looks up, which brought my face gaze toward the sky. Kneeling side plank. Couple of breaths here. When you're ready, exhale, bring cervical spine into neutral first. There I go, rolling that shoulder. Turning the extended right leg back underneath me and re-kickstanding the left leg. So exhale, press back to child's pose. Kind of stretch out the spine a little bit. And just so I don't have my back to you in this video series, we'll go ahead and turn to the other side. Kickstanding out that the right low limb, toes or top of foot. Extending out the left limb and checking to see that my right point of contact in the palm, my right knee, and my left leg are all in one line. That's the balance part. We're not offline, so it does feel like we are concentrating more on balance. We're going to go ahead and rotate through hip, then ribs. Taking my finger points at the shoulder head and then reaching straight up. Turning to look if you have it. If that's too much to turn the neck bones to look at the sky, just looking straight ahead in between the neutral shoulder. Couple of breaths. Once you set it up and all the body parts are in alignment, then begin to breathe. You use your breath to set it up, but we want a moment of kind of silence or stillness and then the breath. When you're ready, returning your neck to neutral first, keeping it in line with the spine. Exhale as you lower the left arm down. Left hand meets right hand. Bringing in the left limb and re-kickstanding the leg to the back. As you notice, I was over just a little bit to keep that nice line, so I want to come back out just an inch or two. Exhale, press back to child's pose. Couple of breaths here. On your next inhale, we'll go ahead and bring the hips over the knees. Shoulders will stop at the wrists for just a moment. We're going to now come to full side plank. And there are two ways of doing it. So let's try the first way from a neutral plank, which is very little movement. And then we'll drop in from the down dog. So here, we're just going to bring out that right leg, bring out the left leg, and then you have this nice neutral plank. You don't want to be up too high. We don't want to sway the back. Keeping the hips nice and neutral. Choice here. I may turn my feet sideways and begin to stack the feet. Now I can stack one foot on top of the other, or I can go ahead and railroad car the feet for a little bit more support. Again, not sagging, not overly arcing, just nice and neutral. So that came from a normal plank. Re-rolling, hold in plank, lean forward a little bit, activate the toes, lower the knees. Exhale, press back to child's pose. If your wrists had any kind of sensation that didn't feel very strong, please take the hands back to the short line of the mat. Bring your fingertips up to the sky, a little bit of wiggling, just to put the wrist action in the opposite direction. Inhale as you extend the arms, hips come up over the knees. This is now the full side plank coming from the down dog. Curling the toes. I need to lean in a little bit to activate my feet. I may pick up the knees for a moment of hover. Exhale as I come into the down dog. I don't want to get too close. I don't want to walk up too high for the plank. I want to be a little bit more open so I can lay my hips in very quietly. So this is a little bit more open dog. I'm going to go ahead and turn the feet and lay the body in from above. So from down dog, down into side plank. Another breath. Exhale, arm swings down, feet return. You can certainly inhale up to the down dog. Find your feet a little bit closer underneath you so that you can rest here. Stepping back about those 4 inches or so, preparing for a plank. Heels come high, cat like the spine. Press at the apex. Once I get to the apex, my sacral plate, low spine is at the apex of this pyramid, so to speak, or triangle. I'm going to go ahead and press the heels back toward that short line of the mat. And when the legs find the space, the hip drops in. Inhale, come forward. Exhale, lower. Coming to child's pose. Bringing the hands to the back of the mat and taking the wrists in more of an extension instead of the flexion. Inhale, hands to the knees, head and neck lift. Extend the arms. Walk back with the hands. And all of that action brought my spine perpendicular to the floor. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn around so that when I do the other side, I don't have my back to you. So we'll just in this other direction. And again, full side plank. Inhale, coming to all fours. Bringing out one leg and then the other leg, and you have a nice gentle lead into the plank. I'm going to roll the body. I want to secure my feet. Set it up. I can stack the feet on this side. Whoops. Or railroad car the feet, one foot in front of the other. So whatever feels more secure for you. That's the full side plank coming in from low normal plank. Exhale as you lower the hand, switch the feet, certainly lower the knees. Another exhale takes you to the child's pose. And maybe this wrist needs a little bit of action. So fingertips behind and toward the ceiling. Now we'll take that same full side plank from down dog. Inhale, hips come up over the knees, shoulders up at the wrists. Tucking the toes underneath, floating the knees, pressing back with a little bit of a bend, and then extending the legs. Sometimes if I have you here in down dog for a while, we're going to bring those feet up just a little bit more and play with the extension of the calves and the Achilles tendon. We're going to stay back a little bit. Notice the farther back I go, the more my heels will not touch the ground. No matter the extension or the mobility or the flexibility that I have in the muscles of the back of the leg, it will not go. So we're still about halfway up with the heel. Couple more breaths. Now still in a little bit of the down dog with my tailbone in the air, I'm going to go ahead and turn the feet sideways and stack and then lower down from the down dog. So another stacked side plank. It just came from higher to the lower plane. And another breath. Exhale as you lower down. Turn those feet. You can press to the down dog to kind of regroup. Line it up for a moment. Or certainly go from neutral plank all the way to the knee. Inhale as I just come forward a little bit, come onto the ball of the foot and the toes, and that controls the knees to the mat. Exhale this time as we just come to a nice kneeling posture. Again, one of the favorites. It's nice to fold the legs after a straight side plank, a kneeling side plank, or even down dog, to have the legs nice and folded. Let's take a nice rotation of the spine. We've put it in flexion. We've put it in extension. A little bit of lateral flexion in the full plank if the hip comes up. You can get a tiny bit of a curve, lateral flexion there. So let's go ahead and rotate. We're just going to drop that right arm crossing over left thigh. Couple of breaths. And when you're ready and things kind of settle and it feels comfortable for you, the other side as the left arm slips into the right thigh. a block for pressing up. The floor is too far away. You have a long torso and a short arm. Barely reach, so have a block here. Or let the arm float. You can certainly bind behind. Or hand on waist. Anywhere that a connection is made with your body flesh to another part of the body flesh becomes a wonderful, stable area so that other places can be free to be mobile. And back again, inhaling nice and long. Exhale, fold forward. You want to re-stretch out those twists. Inhale. We're going to come nice extension in the child's pose. There go the hips over the knees, curling the toes underneath you. Press back, bend those knees, and find our down dog again as we do a little bit of a twisting move with the legs. So the down dog stays relatively quiet. Again, broaden the shoulders, a slight parenthesis of both arms. I don't want to be too retracting. I don't want to be way out. I just want to have this nice Goldilocks moment for your body when the scapular blades come a little broader, the teeniest little bend in the elbow. You can certainly drop your head in and look at the belly button. You could look up if you're going to hop or you're about to come to that top of the mat there and you want to see where you're going to be at. But this causes a kink in the back of the neck, which is the A and B venous artery and vein going up into the brain. So you don't want to really do this. You want to open this up. So one of the best measures is the ear and the bicep are in line. Let's go ahead and try a crossing of the legs. So I'm going to come over here to the side a little bit. If I cross and I come over here, I want to be careful not to get off to the mat. So we're going to come over here first, then cross the leg, and it shows your feet just about in the center of the mat. So you're secure with that rubber matting. I've got my baby toes touching each other. So the rest of my feet fingers are kind of fanning out like a wing. I can bend. How does that feel? That nice tuck and squeeze. Once the hips come into flexion, you've got more play in the legs and you can squeeze a little tighter. If I draw the hip up into less flexion, I'm going to have less mobility in the leg for squeeze, but working toward that. And then taking that left foot around, I'm definitely offline. I'm off to the left of the mat and my hands are in the center. So now we're going to walk it to the other side. Taking that right foot all the way around, bringing myself into the middle of the mat. My pinky toes are touching. I can bend and get that knee around. They're almost spooning and hold. Or I can lengthen and see how that feels. Don't press too far back on the kneecap. You want to take care of your knee joint at all costs. Swinging back that right leg in front of left and coming back to center. Stretching it all out, moving freely. A little bit of motion here, your own natural motion, what feels good. Looking up to where the thumb points have an imaginary line, and I may begin to walk up. I don't necessarily put my feet right up with the hand. I might have my feet directly behind the crease of the wrist here, possibly. If that's even just too much,
slide them back. This is fine. Now the more my feet come back, I'm going to round my shoulders. If my feet come more forward, I will draw those shoulders back into more neutral. This is safer, this is better than the rounded. If I do have my feet back farther, and this extension of the hand didn't change, you'll tend to begin to internal the shoulder girdle, so you have the rounded shoulder. However, if that's helping you and making you feel good that you're sitting safer and you're not overextending the legs, then this is fine. Big inhale, we'll go halfway up. On your next exhale, come to the forward fold. You can draw the hands behind you. Or have blocks. Notice the pinky, thumb, and the 3 fingers, the first digit of the 3 fingers are holding the block. It will become natural for you to grab the block like that. Inhaling as I sit down, get my gluteals as deep as possible, and notice my head and glute, kind of like the seesaw, came up, nice level plane, arms as high as shoulders and rib cage. Inhale, squeeze the legs, come all the way up, and as you exhale, finding a nice slight micro bend in the knee and finding mountain posture, Tadasana. Allowing that head that's been upside down or been in the very close to the earth plane, now we're a little higher. So that is gravity and the pumping of the blood, pumping of the heart. So pause here for just a moment. Let the body catch up sometimes with the movement. And notice the pelvic girdle is in neutral. I'm not tipping. I'm not leaning back. I have a nice contraction at the top of the glutes. Tailbone is slipping under, tucking under between the legs, and resting in the most powerful core. And this will begin our practice of balance today. Because we crossed our legs in down dog, we're going to go ahead and practice crossing our legs standing. And I invite you to have a chair. Just make sure your chair is either in the rubber, or you're holding wall, or you're holding the countertop. Whatever works for you. So we will go ahead and shift the weight to that right foot. And again, if you've decided to hold something, you may be here, still shifting the weight. Or I am here, shifting the weight. Anything that you need to feel secure to hold, and then release the hold once you set up the piece. So for today, we'll go ahead and we'll try both. Same side. We're going to go ahead and pick up the left leg. I'm going to drop in just a little bit, so I do want a bend in the hip and a bend in the knee as I cross over the left leg. Now some people will just drop that foot right here, and they will even put a block or a book, thick book from home, right here. This is perfectly good practice for Garudasana, which is the start of the eagle posture. This is one way. So certainly grab your prop and be here and hold for about 3 breaths. Those of you that wish to move that block, maybe you'd like to try the next level, or you're already there and you didn't use a block at all, it's all fine, that I've crossed over high in the thigh and the groin. As much crossing as possible allows the real estate of the leg to curl around the base of that left side. So here would be the bottom part of Garudasana. There goes that left, crossing over. I'm gripping, again, any body part, squeezing into a body part is stability. So grip and squeeze and corkscrew the legs. Hold a wall or a chair if you wish. Sit a little deeper. Then maybe move the hand off the wall or the chair. Low Garudasana. Others will go even lower. Where does it feel good for you? Now if the left leg is curling around the right leg, then opposite with the hands. Right over left, spinning, and having the arms do the opposite of the legs. Elbow can be high as chin or lower if that feels better for your neck. Return the cross of the arms. Hold if you're ready or not. Pick up the leg, bring it around. Exhale, lower down. Move side to side, taking care of that right ankle that was in flexion much of the time. Lifting through the ball of the foot and the heel of the foot. Have a tiny arc in the arch of the base of the foot. So you have a lift. Toes are still playing, even with balance. We don't want to collapse the arch of the foot because it draws the hip down and the femoral bone down. Those are heavy bones. So everything's coming down rather in balance. You're trying to lift up away from the floor. Let's try the other side. Good luck. It's a good thing you're at home, having your own private practice. You can play. If you fall, you fall. Don't fall over to hurt yourself, but if you fall out, you fall out. Just start again. This time I'm going to hold the wall. Again, maybe I'm holding 5 hands. Maybe I have 3 fingers. Maybe I go to 2 fingers. And then 1. And this little teeny bit, this pad of real estate balance. Then do that. And then when you're ready, take it off the wall. Not far, you don't have to take it back to the body. Just take it off the wall. You know that in an inch or 2, you could touch that wall again. And if that's what creates a calm in you and a stillness in you as you're learning and you're practicing these balances. Okay? So now we're going to put effort on the left side, keeping the ball of the foot and the heel in. Nice arc. I don't want to be too flat. I still want to do a little bit of lifting. Shifting the weight and just playing a little bit and seeing where that goes. Picking up the right leg and dropping it off to the side. Again, having a block there if you need it, or just bringing the big toe. Sitting in with a little bit of a flexion of the hip and taking it off, or taking it off, or holding. Couple more breaths. I'm pretending there's a block here under my foot. You may stay right here and continue to explore Garudasana, the eagle posture. You could go a little bit deeper. I'm not sure we want to tip this way, but we could set in a little bit deeper. Those of you that want to go up to the next level, you bring up that right leg, cross as high as you can over the left thigh, which gives you a little bit more real estate of that right leg corkscrewing around the left low limb. Sitting a little deeper just brings me more squeeze into that corkscrew. So more bind of the flesh. Holding here, maybe here. And if you wish, if right is over left, then left arm is over right and coming into eagle posture here. Now maybe, see I fell out, so I put my toe down. I'm going to go back to the wall, curl it again. Possibly, instead of the bind here, you could unbind one and hold the wall and just keep the arm here. There we go, balancing, playing, practicing. Inhale, uncorkscrew the arms. Re-corkscrew the leg. Shifting the weight back off that left ankle onto the right ankle. Taking the spine long, bending the knees, pressing forward. Nice extension from the neutral hip. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. And again, arms anywhere. Coming to standing posture. And stepping back over to the mat or just coming down. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sitting deeply in the tush. Coming forward a little bit. There's that rocking we did last time. Bending the knees. I had space to bend the knees. Bringing the knees out. Coming up on the heel if you wish. Balancing with blocks. Or opening up those feet just a few more inches, heels coming in a V and coming into the garland pose or malasana. Bringing the knees together, taking hands or hands on block. Controlling as you lower, feet in front of you. And preparing for Shavasana. Again, my hands, the heels, pick up the hip, play a little bit here. Float it down, bring it up. Other side, down, and bring it up. Explore how that floats for the power of the heel and the power of the wrist, arm, shoulder. Inhale, press back. Exhale, lower softly. Let everything at the base of the body kind of flower out. And holding here in staff pose or Dandasana. Arms coming forward and resting in the lap. Opening up the feet about hip width apart. Preparing the heel again with the bent knee. I can't prepare my heel to dig in if my leg is straight. So I'm going to draw that knee into bend. There goes that heel engaged. The other one, press forward, bringing out the heels to the corners of your mat. That's a nice width. Exhale as you lower. Breathe and relax. Follow the path of your breathing. Each exhale softens the back body as you go deeper and deeper into relaxation. Relax your face, unhinge your jaw.